I want to be real with y'all for a second because I didn't come into FundedNext all excited to try a new prop firm. I came in super skeptical because every prop firm out there makes massive promises and then under delivers. And all of the other futures YouTube sheep follow the trend from firm to firm, and that's just not my style. So when I tell you that I've been pleasantly surprised, I hope that actually means something. Today I'm looking at every futures account that FundedNext offers, the Legacy, the Flex, and the Rapids, so that you can stop guessing which one will actually fit how you trade. Because yes, the account that you pick matters more than you think if you actually want to pass. So I'll explain all of that. I've been futures prop trading for a few years now, in addition to trading my self-funded and options trading accounts. And I've traded through all the hype myself: Top Step, Apex, Take Profit Trader, My Funded Futures. And I'll be honest, I just wasn't rushing to add yet another firm to my plate, especially when it's the same meal, just at a different restaurant every time. But I started hearing some really good things from the traders in the trading ranch, and that's my crew. I trust them. That made me pay some attention. So I got an account and I tested the rules against my actual setups, like my stampede reversals and the quickie scalps, and I kept notes. So here's what I found. First, the Legacy account, I think, is really for the trader who wants to build a long-term relationship with this account. Maybe be, like a prop firm career trader, and not just pass a challenge and burn and churn them. So let me explain. This one, all of these, they have a one-time fee, no activation fee. So that means you're going to pay once and you're done. And I really appreciate a prop firm that doesn't try to sneak in renewals and activations and data fees after you pass, because that sucks. They have a 40% consistency rule on the challenge only. So here's what you need to pay attention to and not miss. That means that once you're funded, you got to think beyond the evaluation. Once you're funded, the consistency rule disappears. And that's not the case everywhere. And I've seen some other firms start to sneak those rules in after you pass. There's also no daily loss limit on the funded account. So as a futures trader, I want to manage my own risk, and I don't need a prop firm stopping my day right before the big setup that I was waiting for. They also have end of day trailing drawdown, which means that the unrealized intraday drawdown doesn't drag your minimum balance floor up in the middle of a trade, which is bullshit. The trade updates at the end of the trading session, kind of like a more normal scoring system. And you have 5 official trading days before your first withdrawal. And then you will end up getting up to 100% profit after 30 trading days. So the translation here is they're not going to cap your upside after you've proven yourself, which is actually becoming kind of rare. It's becoming more normal for these places to cut you off after you get a certain number of payouts. Lame. They have an 80% profit share on these, and that's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward. So basically, the Legacy account is for the trader running a real strategy, like a consistent, measured, real, tested, proven method. And they're not just gambling and YOLOing and hedging their drawdown all in one trade. So if that's you, the Legacy might be your account. Next, we'll pick on the Flex, and this is more of the entry-level budget account that has a massive scaling path later. So it starts at $69.99 for the 50K account, and it goes all the way up to a 150K account for $249.99. But use code BULLBARBIE and save on any of the accounts. But this one is the budget account. So the profit targets are the lowest across the entire ecosystem. So it's 2,500 on the 50K, 5,000 on the 100K. There is end of day trailing drawdown, 0 daily loss limit, and the 40% consistency rule again vanishes once you get to the funded stage, just like the legacy. So Flex is more for traders who are on a budget or who maybe want to burn and churn them a little bit. But if you're on a budget, these ones have the lowest financial risk to prove yourself by a little bit. If you're a trader who wants a big account, like a 150K account, without paying the higher prices, that might make a little bit more sense on the Flex. Now we enter the rapid accounts. And first we'll talk about the rapid daily. And you'll figure out why we're calling them rapids. But in this one, you can pass in one day. So you can complete the entire evaluation phase in a single trading day if you hit your profit target. So the other ones are basically 3 or 5 days. You have no consistency rule, so 0 consistency rule ever. There's no consistency on the challenge, no consistency on the funded account, 0. You have up to, you can take daily payouts, so you can take a payout every day up to a 90% profit share. There is a minimum 250-day withdrawal threshold with those daily payouts once you get eligible. So sounds great, but the trade-off is that daily loss limit. So because you get 1 day to pass and potentially daily payouts, FundedNext enforces a pretty strict daily loss limit, which is $1,000 on a 50K account. So if you hit that limit, your session is stopped for the day. For those of y'all inside the trading ranch who kind of know my sugar daddy prop firm managing strategy, this is managing your funded account like it's a real structured business plan with small daily consistent wins to build trust in yourself and the entire framework, and pulling only part of your capital out so you can feed that monkey while building a big buffer. And the rapid daily maps out pretty nicely to that when you want to get some payouts burning and churning. The rapid daily is pretty much for the trader who already has that high probability edge and who wants that daily payout and knows that their strategy can fit inside of the 0 consistency rules and inside of this daily loss limit cap, because it could cap the end of your session. You could be done for the day. And then finally, the Rapid Pro. And this is where you need to pay attention to the fine print, in my opinion. So you get the 1 day pass and the no daily loss limit. So it's like the rapid daily where you can pass in 1 day, but like the legacy, it has no daily loss limit. So it sounds like it's the best of both worlds, right? But hold on. On the challenge phase, there's no consistency rule, but once you are funded, then you have that 40% consistency rule on your live account. So there's a rule flip. The payouts are still great. You can take withdrawals every 3 days with a 90% profit share. Just be a little bit careful because the Rapid Pro could be a little bit of a trap for traders who want to really sprint through a challenge, really wild and crazy degen style, and then maybe didn't read the rules because they're a bit of a degen and they get caught off guard when they end up having a consistency rule in their funded account that the other accounts don't have. So unless you specifically want the 3-day payouts with the daily drawdown limit, the legacy might be a little cleaner to trade for you with the consistent rule transition from evaluation to live. Every trader that I've seen fail a prop firm, myself included, is for one of 2 reasons. Either you're over leveraged or you don't understand the rules and you end up setting yourself up for failure with trade number 1. It's not necessarily your strategy. You better have one. I was assuming you have one for this, but it can end up being the rule. So let's break down all of those mechanics real quick and make sure that everything is really understood. So on the legacy, rapid and flex, the max loss is all the accounts. The max loss is calculated at the end of the day on the end of day balance. So not those intraday peaks. So if you start with the 50K account with a $2,500 max loss, that means your floor for that account, the minimum account balance, is $47,500. So during the session, if you push that account up to $52,000, but then it pulls back to $51,000 before the end of the trading day, you don't lose that extra $1,000 where your floor gets pushed up to $49,500. It's just up to $48,500. And that's at the close of the trading day, not some random point in the day. So this matters because those intraday wicks and open profit drawdowns don't pull that minimum balance up while your trade is running. So if you're running something like a 15-minute orb and have a trailing drawdown on some breakout trades, you're going to get that breathing room that you really have to be able to keep the account alive. And I have a whole video dedicated to intraday versus end of day trailing drawdown. So I'll link that in the comments and the description. But the important thing is this end of day trailing drawdown structure on FundedNext is the one we want. It's the friendly one to the volatility that we see in futures. So on legacy and flex evaluations, we have the consistency rule. So that means that no account can, or no single day can account for more than 40% of your total profit target at the end when you're ready to pass the account. That doesn't mean you fail the account. It means that your profit target is recalculated higher. So you'll have to earn more money. It's kind of a soft breach, not a full breach. This is pretty typical, so be aware of that. One of the really cool things is FundedNext allows trading across news events. So if you really like those high momentum breakouts and things around the data that drops before open, or even the afternoon FOMC and things, you can absolutely trade those. If you've got a news trading strategy, you get to trade your news trading strategy. On the rapid daily, hitting your daily loss limit that's another one of those like soft breaches. So they'll pause your trading for the rest of the session, rest of the day to protect your capital, but they're not going to liquidate you or fail you or anything like that. You still get to come back tomorrow refreshed. Your account lives to trade another day. So stop chasing the prop firm based on which challenge is the cheapest, all right? Choose it based on which rule set your strategy can actually survive. So I got my own accounts. I've traded breakout strategies, reversal strategies. I have scaled in. I have done my one lots, my quickies, and there's definitely an account for each one of these strategies. So if you want to find out more about that, of course, come join our community and you'll get to follow these trades pretty much every day. All right, now let's talk about the part that actually really matters. And it's not the clout of posting all of these screenshots, because I don't care how good all the screenshots look or how good the rules look or how good the marketing is if the payouts are non-existent or slow or full of excuses. So here's the cool thing. When you request a payout and you do this directly through the FundedNext dashboard, the turnaround time is actually ridiculously fast. And this should be a top priority. It is a top priority for FundedNext. So it's usually just a matter of hours. In fact, FundedNext is going to back this speed and literally put their money where their mouth is with a 24-hour promise. So if your payout processing takes longer than 24 hours, they're going to pay you your withdrawal plus an extra $1,000 out of their own pocket. So that really is a firm putting their money where their mouth is, right? They do consistently rank in the top 3 of most traders' lists. So even if there is like a trending hot firm of the week, you will see these generally as something that most of us are trading, and that's for a reason. So here's my final verdict. FundedNext is the real deal. They're legit for futures traders. And I've provided you, I think, a lot of information to help you pick the account that matches your execution style, because that is really important. The legacy is probably my top recommendation for most traders, maybe even 90%. If you're wanting long-term account to really take seriously, which I think most of us are. And the flex is good if you want a budget entry or you're going for those larger accounts where that discount, helps a lot more. Or if you're really wanting to, churn the payouts as fast as possible, you need to be rewarded daily or almost daily. The rapid daily could really help you with that. Plus, you can end up with zero consistency rules on the daily. If you're ready to start a challenge, use code BULLBARBIE at checkout for the very best discount that they have going on right now. I'll put a link in the description and pinned in the comments as well. But if you want to trade these setups live with us and, kind of compare your progress in the challenge and talk to some other traders and see how we're mapping levels every morning, come join the Trading Ranch Discord. The link is also in the description. And if you're new here, I'm BULLBARBIE. I'm a self-taught futures and options trader from Texas, and I don't sugarcoat anything around here. So subscribe for the real info without the hype, and I will see you real soon. Love you.